once again, a blessed and productive morning to all of us. At this moment, I would like to acknowledge our guests. Thank you very much for being with us today and for taking time out from your busy schedules. So far, we have 70 Rotary clubs from 10 different districts. Let me start with from District 3770, Rotary Club of Kawayan City. From District 3810, Rotary Club of Bagong Bayan, Manila. Rotary Club of Manila Metro. Rotary Club of Manila South. Rotary Club from 3830, Rotary Club of Makati West. From 3850, Rotary Club of Bacolod. Rotary Club of Bacolod North. And Rotary Club of Metro Rojas. For 3870, Rotary Club Cotabato East. For District 3860, Rotary Club of Candaya Tacloban. For the Rotary Club of 3820, Rotary Club of Atimonan, Rotary Club of Atimonan Sunrise, Rotary Club of Caboyo Circle, Rotary Club of Calamba, Rotary Club of Diet Center Point, Rotary Club of Lipa West, Rotary Club of Mabini, Rotary Club of Metro Lipa, Rotary Club of Metro Santa Rosa, Rotary Club of Metropolitan Candelaria, Rotary Club of San Pedro Magic, Rotary Club of San Pedro South, Rotary Club of Taal Lemery Circle, Rotary Club of Pila West. So far, these are the Rotary clubs who are now in the room, and would like also to acknowledge the presence of the past district governor from 3850, past district governor Rafi Taiko. So we are still waiting for other Rotary clubs. So far we have 70 clubs in total for this webinar. We have 9 Rotary districts in the Philippines and 1 Rotary district outside the Philippines. That's Rotary District 9400 from Johannesburg, South Africa. For this webinar, there are rules that we need to observe. So may I call in Rotarian Mimi Rodelas to read the house rule for us.
Good morning. For this morning, wait lang po. For this morning, we have house rules. First, please set your name to your title, name, club name, and district number. For example, Rotarian Mimi Rodelas, RC Metro San Pedro D3820 for identification po. And number 2, please mute your mic unless asked to. And then the chat box will be opened midway through the speaker's speech to accept questions. All questions will be read during the open forum. And last, those who would like to ask a question verbally or share during the open forum may raise their hand virtually using the raise hand button. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Mimi. I would like also to welcome the Rotary Club of Downtown Calapan, Rotary Club of Santa Rosa, Rotary Club of Pila West. Thank you very much. Rotary Club of Taal Lemery, thank you very much for coming. Nagdadatingan na po mga Rotary clubs. So this is indeed a very good attendance coming from 9 Rotary districts in the Philippines and 1 Rotary district outside the country. Again, welcome. And to give us an opening remarks, may I call on the Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro Membership Chair, past President Ed Fogoso.
Good morning. Good morning. Transforming presidents, past and future district governors, Rotary Club officers, fellow Rotarians, and to all our guests, Good morning and welcome to our club's membership webinar. My name is Ed Fugoso and it is my privilege and pleasure on behalf of the Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro to welcome you here today. We are delighted to have you with us to participate in this important talk about membership. Thank you so much. As Governor Ray Atienza has always emphasized during his governor's visit to all the clubs in the district and on his talks during district events, membership is part of our district's trust this Rotary year. He requests us to include this in all our plans and programs. The Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro, and I'm sure all of the other clubs in the district, is committed to meet the challenge of growing Rotary. Since this month's theme is membership, our club, through the great efforts of our past president, Delia Rodelas, has invited one of the most sought-after speakers on the subject of membership. I wish to thank our guest speaker for accepting our invitation to share his expertise to our group. I am sure his inputs on the subject will enlighten us on how we can strengthen our club membership, create strategies for attracting new members, and develop programs that focuses on member engagement as a method to increase our club's membership retention rate. So prepare yourself to be challenged, excited, and inspired by our distinguished guest speaker. Before I hand over to PP Del, who will introduce our guest speaker, I want to say once more that on behalf of the Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro, welcome. It is so nice to see so many of you here. Thank you and a pleasant and fruitful day to all of us.
Thank you very much, Sir Ed, for your opening remarks. And I do believe, doon sa sinabi niyo, that all Rotarians are committed for the challenge of growing Rotary. I agree. Before I turn you over to past President Delia Rodelas, I would like to acknowledge the other Rotary clubs. Rotary Club of Rosario, thank you very much. Let me read all the clubs from the different districts just in case na pumasok sila sa room. From District 3770, Rotary Club of Angat, Rotary Club of Geo Bloomingdales, Rotary Club of Malolos Republic, Rotary Club of Santa Maria, Bulacan. From District 3790, Rotary Club of Central Pampanga, Rotary Club of Clarkfield, Rotary Club of 100 Islands, and Rotary Club of Masinloc. For 3800, Rotary Club of Malabon Central, Rotary Club of Ortigas Center, Rotary Club of Rizal East, Rotary Club of Valenzuela West. For District 3810, we have also Rotary Club Manila Santa Ana, Rotary Club Pasay Maharlika, Rotary Club of Pasay East. For District 3850, we have Rotary Club of Dipolog, Rotary Club of Iloilo South, Rotary Club of Calibong. For 3860, Rotary Club of Greater Calbayog, Rotary Club of Metro Mandaue 2006, Rotary Club of Ormoc. For 3870, Rotary Club of Cotabato City South, Rotary Club of Isunan. For 3820, Rotary Club of Balayan, Bawan, Candelaria, Legazpi North, Lipa Midwest, Lipa South, Los Baños Makiling, Lucena North, Mabini, Metro Sorsogon, Metro Tanawan, Santo Tomas, Nagcarlan, Pinamalayan Central, San Pablo City, Santa Rosa South, Santa Rosa West, Santa Rosa Centro, Santo Tomas, Tayaba Central, Tiaong Circle, West Nawan, and Calapan. For 3830, Alabang West, and for 9400, Johannesburg, South Africa. Again, thank you very much, Sir Ed. And to introduce our guest speaker, may I call in the elegant and the beautiful past President Del Rodelas.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you
Good
hear
morning,
me?
Dale.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us in the first of our series of a webinar this Rotary year. As we all know, we are in the situation, all of us are limited to the confines of our homes due to this COVID-19 pandemic. However, as Rotarians, we can still be fruitful no matter how hard the situation gets, right?
Yes.
Today, the Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro is proud to have a very successful and seasoned speaker to share with us a very timely topic, doing Rotary business in a global pandemic. I am past President Delia Rodelas and the club trainer of the Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro. I am honored to introduce our guest speaker, who I've come to know more when we were coordinating and the preparation for District 3820 District Training Assembly on membership last year. Since then, he became one of my idols as an inspirational speaker. He is a registered mechanical engineer. Having completed his degree in Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering at Mapua Institute of Technology. Quest for higher education has inspired him as he further moved in completing his master's degree in business administration, summa cum laude, at Our Lady of Fatima University Graduate School, and a doctorate degree in business administration at Colegio de San Juan de Letran Graduate School of Business. He was a recipient of the 2016 Most Outstanding Alumni Award given by Our Lady of Fatima University for his contribution in the field of business and entrepreneurship. Presently, he is the managing director of Atler Marketing Corporation, a local company that serves as a manufacturer's representative and consultant to foreign companies in the field of power distribution and substation utilities. He also served at the same time as management consultant on strategic management and total quality management with Chloride Batteries, Southeast Asia Private Limited, Singapore, and Mitsubishi Belting Philippines. He is also a guest lecturer on corporate seminars on entrepreneurship and strategic planning with Unilever Philippines and Pure Gold. On the side, he shares his passion as professor on corporate planning, strategic and total quality management at Graduate School of University of Asia and the Pacific, and at School of Commerce Management and the University of Santo Tomas. Our guest is also a community advocate, having devoted 25 years of his professional life with Rotary International as a member and past president of Rotary Club Valenzuela West, District 3800 for Rotary year 2001-2002. But prior to being a Rotarian, he was a full-blooded Rotaractor for 12 years with the Rotary Club of Valenzuela and became its president for Rotary year 1981 to 1982. At present, he serves the appointment of Rotary International as Assistant Public Image Coordinator for Zone 10A. He served also the regional position of Rotary International as Assistant Rotary Coordinator for Zone 10A from Rotary year 2013 to 2018. The task of which is to facilitate seminars and trainings on Rotary's strategic management and membership at the 10 districts in the entire Philippines. He was also appointed as RI President Representative at the Philippines Rotary Convention in 2018. As to his personal life, our speaker is the guardian of his marital vinculum for 35 years with spouse Dora Cynthia Cabulanan Dacayo, with whom they were blessed with 5 gentlemen in the Unicahir. Fellow Rotarians, let's welcome and listen to the most sought-after motivational speaker, the darling of Rotarians and the Rotarian idol of Philippine Rotary, wearing his new jersey as a proud member of the Rotary Club of Maykawayan East, District 3770, a regal eagle, Rotarian Ramon Sevilla Dacayo. Let's give him a warm round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Delia. Good morning to all our participants here on our webinar. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Before I proceed, can I ask for a sound check? Am I coming in clear, CP Mon?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Alam nyo, ako'y natutuwa. Today is really a blessed day for all of us, not only for the host club, RC Metro San Pedro, but to all of us as well. Why am I saying this? Number one, yesterday it was raining cats and dogs. Today, the sun is up and shining. Previously, in all those webinars that have transpired, it is being attended to by Rotarians. Now, we are talking about attendance from Rotary clubs, not within district, but all other districts as well. And three, most important thing, our transmission is coming in very, very good. Yesterday, we are having difficulty on the transmission, but the Lord is blessing us today. Okay, maglala, hindi ako magmimisa. Natutuwa lang ako at magandang ating transmission. So hopefully, we were able to come up with a very enlightening discussion and learnings about membership. Okay? So I shall now start sharing my screen. All right. Okay. Is my screen up, Mon? Okay, good. Sige.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Paki-mute mo na lahat. I will now start to talk. Fellow Rotarians, good morning. Remember the months of January or February this year when your club just finished its strategic planning. On that very date, you have finished setting your priorities, focus your energies and resources, strengthen your action plans, ensuring that your members and your stakeholders are working towards a common goal. Establish agreement around the intended outcomes and results, and assesses and adjusts your club's overall performance. Everything is set. It is just waiting for its maiden implementation. And then, boom, COVID-19 just exploded, well, figuratively, of course, right in front of our face. Not only in our community, not only in our country, but engulfing almost 80% of our beloved Mother Earth. During this period, it is tough to expound and explain anything that hasn't been written with words and phrases that we didn't often use before, such as unprecedented, navigating uncharted waters, social distancing versus physical distancing, the new normal, flatten the curve, all those stuffs. And it's been said then, and we are still saying it now. Guys, it was during this month of March, if my memory serves me correct, that the government imposed a 2-week lockdown where nobody should supposed to go out of their homes to do their regular business and personal routines. In the midst of all anxiety, nervousness, and unanswered questions, we resorted to whatever information our news media has to say. But wait, our engulfing days were all filled up to capacity. We had to do our works on a daily basis. But what can we do? We are in the midst of anxiety. We have a club meeting tomorrow. No more. Our club induction is next week. No more. How about our visit to the orphanage? No more. We have a seminar on membership. No more. Is there an actual physical activity that we can do? No more. My goodness. And you can say that again. But wait, we have already laid our plans and programs for the coming Rotary year. No longer doable, kid. But wait, why worry? Besides, you just copy your last year plans that you have submitted to your governor. Wala namang pinagbago dyan. It's all right. But think of this. Teka muna. There will be so many things that will be put on hold. All those seminars, trainings, and preparatory activities that we have undertaken, both in our clubs and our districts, will simply have to be put on hold. All those beautiful, invigorating, and challenging statements we have heard on district trainings, PETs, membership development, recruitment and rotation, and service activities that were planned for implementation were practically no longer implementable the way it used to be. Why? For obvious reasons, all of those were kept at bay by this COVID-19, especially here in Metro Manila. We can no longer go out on our homes to go malling, watch movies, attend church services, or simply just loitering around for fear that this virus is just around the corner waiting to devour us alive. We were simply put on hold inside our homes. The downside, we were all made frozen. What's the upside? That made our spouses very happy. Hindi kasi tayo umaalis. All right. Our perspectives, activities, plans have all been changed. Why? Because we now have to live within the four corners of our home. On a personal note, I wrote down some activities that were limited to us during this lockdown. I have made these four quadrants, and when I will be explaining each one together with you. On your left are the things that I need and the things that we do not need. On the upper hand, these are the things that we have and the things that we don't have. If you are to look on the upper left-hand corners, the things that we have against the things that we need. These are the couch, the coffee, and the Wi-Fi. Pre-COVID, Wi-Fi is still an optional, but we have to have our couch and our coffee. Nowadays, Wi-Fi is now part of the relevant things that we need to have, and we need to be connected. How about on the upper right-hand corner? Things that we need that we do not have. These are any sort of work ethics. These are the things that we do in our office that we cannot do anymore, that we have to relegate doing it inside our house. We are not accustomed to do things at home, but we are now forced by oblivion to do these things at home, simply because we cannot go out. What about those gyms? Those exercises that we do outside or inside the gyms, simply we cannot do it, but do it as well or inside our house. Can we walk around? I doubt it, because of the delicate things that the COVID-19 might just be outside our homes. What about those on the lower left-hand corner? Things that we have that we do not need. These are what I call the unrivaled ability to procrastinate. My goodness, we have all the time in the world that we can do it just as well tomorrow. There's even one time I wrote a piece of paper which I posted on my refrigerator stating the things that I will do tomorrow because I'm just as timid doing it today. By tomorrow, I will look at it and it says things that I will do tomorrow, which is the following day, the following day, and the following day. Okay, as time passes by, those works were left undone simply because of the procrastination attitude that we have. And lastly, what are the things that we don't have that we don't need? It is those that we see over the social media on the internet that prompted us to be passive buyers. Those are the things that prompted us to buy over the internet that once it is delivered, we suddenly find out that we do not need those things until such time we maxed out on our credit cards without any means of paying those. Watch out, guys. You might be one of them. So, what are the things that we need to do? My God, what is happening? We are cutting this live broadcast to give way to a very important announcement. Jesus Christ, what is this? Oh, it's our 35th wedding anniversary on August 25, exactly 2 days from now. medyo dumulas ka ng konti, President Janet. Buti hindi mo tinama ng Tuesday, kundi aawayin ako ng asawa ko. And this, since she is beside me, I would like to take the opportunity to sound this over social media all over the Philippines. How I love my dear wife for the past 25 years, 35 years. Pinagtiisan niya ako. You know, guys, out of 35 years of wedding, I have learned 4 things which I want to share with you. First, if you want to change the world, do it while you are still a bachelor. Bakit po? Kasi after marriage, you cannot even change a TV channel. Second, listening to my wife is like reading the terms and conditions of a website. Bakit po? You understand nothing, but still you have no choice but to agree. Third, chess is the only game in the world which reflects the status of the husband. The poor king can take only one step at a time, while the mighty queen can do whatever she likes. And lastly, all men are brave. Horror movies don't scare them, but missing 5 calls from your wife, don't you even dare. You're dead after that. So, going back to our regular programming, nagkaroon ng puso ah. Okay. Mukhang may nag-agree. What are the certainties of this coronavirus? Among the certainties is the knowledge that this virus is here to stay. Among the unknowns is the behavior of the virus in the medium term. We don't know yet what kind of immunity our body generates or for how long. But it will be of little use if the immunity is short. Nor we do know, and this is perhaps what is most worrying now, if and when the virus will get out of control again. And in a second outbreak, which is expected to be much more lethal for people and for economy. As of now, what is important for us is to do what the government just asked us to do. Wear our masks, try to be hygienic all the time, and exercise social distancing. Can you remember the time pre-COVID that every time we take out our dinners, okay, at the back, at the kitchen side, before these kitchens are served to us, the chef will make sure that the chickens are well cooked. And in order for the chef to verify if the chicken is well cooked, is to put a thermometer inside that chicken. Now, during COVID, that chicken is no more because we are now the ones conducting the temperature check, no longer the chicken. Guys, this is what's happening. We are now all walking on this very day on an uncharted territory. No exact direction to go. Take a look at this map, which is divided into half. On your left is your old normal, where you have the route, okay, you have the roads, you have the direction. On the right side is what is happening now, the new normal. We do not have the road, we do not have the route, we do not have the direction, and we do not even know where to go. No exact directions to go, no exact undertakings to start. And we cannot even brag on our own laurels precisely because we do not even have our past to speak of. For everything have been decimated entirely in the space of this earth by this COVID-19. The fact remains, unless an effective vaccine is available and affordable, then we don't have any choice but to embrace this reality. For Rotary, the big question now is where to go. There is no face-to-face meeting that we are familiar with, no fellowship, and not much of a service activity. Yet, many of us already know that to ensure our way out of these circumstances is to make us sustainable over time. We would have to change our way of life, our way of thinking, and our way looking forward. And that this change implies what is called a paradigm shift. This is where the resistance begins because we are forced against time to come up with one. Fellas, what then is paradigm shift? If you listen to some motivational gurus, most of them will advise you to reboot. But come to think of it, if you try to check the definition of reboot in a dictionary, it will tell you that reboot is something like reloading your operating system of a computer, meaning turning it off and on again for a fresh start. But if you look deeper into its meaning, does this mean that we need to reboot our plans and programs? I doubt it. And I objectively but honestly do not agree with it. You know why? Because if we reboot our system, once we open it again, we will just returning back to where we have left. Babalik ulit tayo doon. So I believe that the term reboot does not imply to our present situation. What I'm offering instead is what we call pivot or pivot, which other people would pronounce it, which means significantly changing the direction of our meetings and services and project strategy. Pivoting or pivoting is a lateral move that creates enough value for the club and its shareholders to share. Guys, organizations need to pivot when a current idea is neither working nor getting traction or significant movement. To those who loves to play basketball, will certainly understand what a pivot foot will mean on an offensive mode. On a layman's term, pivot is nothing more than what we call doing some turnaround or sasabihin natin liliko sa ibang kalsada. Okay? Nearly instantaneous economic recession triggered by the COVID-19 shutdown has wreaked havoc in our Rotary business, large and small. Our very way of life is also said to be threatened. On the basis of sweeping proclamations about the end of commuting, the demise of retail, the collapse of globalization, many executives, including us Rotarians, have come to assume that everything will change. The reality of how clubs are dealing with the crisis and preparing for the recovery tells a very different story. One of pivoting to business models conducive to short-term survival along with long-term resilience and growth. What do I mean by this? Take a look at the science of transformation, to which I call the metamorphosis. Accordingly, the recipe for club survival will ensue via thorough transformation of our entire club structure. Take a look at this left side picture, a picture of a cocoon. Perhaps the best example I can share to define the embracing change is the metamorphosis of a butterfly. Take a look at this caterpillar, which I call the feeding stage. The job of the caterpillar is to eat and eat and eat. As the caterpillar grows, it splits its skin and sheds it about 4 to 5 times. Food eaten at this time is stored and used later as an adult. It is at this stage that caterpillars can grow 100 times their size during this stage. After that, a transformation will transpire whereby this caterpillar will now be transformed into a pupa. It is then when the caterpillar is fully grown and stops eating, it becomes a pupa, also known as the chrysalis. Depending on the species, the pupa may be suspended under a branch, hidden on leaves, or buried underground. The pupa of many moths is protected inside the cocoon of a silk. This stage can last from few weeks, a month, or even longer. Some species have a pupal stage that even lasts for 2 years. It may look like nothing is going on, but big changes are happening inside. Special cells that were made and present in the larva are now growing rapidly. They will become the legs, the wings, and the eyes, other parts of the adult butterfly. Many of the regional larva cells will provide energy for those growing adult cells. And finally, once this particular larva opens up, it will blossom into a nice, beautiful butterfly, waiting to explore the goodness of the environment and the sun upshining. Why am I telling this to you? Fellow Rotarians, right now, under this pandemic, we are holed up inside this larvae. We cannot do anything that we need, that we're supposed to do, because our actions are very much limited by the situations that we are now facing. But what we need to do is to transform ourselves, transform our lives, do the necessary pivoting things so that once this cocoon of ours will open up, will now be blossomed into a very beautiful butterfly. And once this COVID-19 is out, we will be there to explore the horizons, seeing the sun shining, and exploring the environment. Fellow Rotarians, wag lang tayo magmadali. Our transformation is now happening. And for sure, with God's blessing, our transformation will be like this very beautiful butterfly. However, we have to be aware that pivoting will not result, not all pivoting, if I may say so, does not result in all good organizational performance. For us to make sure that our pivot will excel and will perform, we have to satisfy three conditions that are necessary for such lateral moves to work. Number one, a pivot must align the club with one or more of the long-term goals created to intensify by the pandemic, including remote work, shorter supply chains, social distancing, and enhancing the use of technology. For instance, if wearing of masks, personal hygiene, and social distancing remains the rule for the near future, then all of our activities, including that but not limited to membership recruitment, retention, social services, and public image must, and I repeat, must be equated to this. Otherwise, all those goals that we have written during the strategic plan will not simply be implementable. Number two, a pivot must be a lateral extension of the club's existing capabilities, cementing, not undermining its strategic intent. Faced by the sudden collapse in our regular weekly in-face meetings, we need to move swiftly and connect all our members, both potential and active ones. Clubs can offer all available online platforms like Zoom, Google Meet, and others focusing in virtual engagement and lively online discussions. Third, pivots must offer a sustainable path towards growth on all our goals and objectives, one that preserves and enhances brand value in the minds of both its members and the community it serves. Remember, we have already accepted the challenge imposed upon us by COVID, by the so many service activities we have endeavored to our community. But one thing I have to remind you, the economic crisis triggered by this pandemic does not necessarily spell the end of the entire industries or company, and certainly not our clubs. It does weed out scientific models that fail to pivot towards the newly created, characterized by shorter value chains, remote work, social distancing, consumer introspection, enhanced technology use. We have to make use all available technology within our means in order for us to serve our communities well, and in order for us to do away with those things so that we will not be affected by this COVID-19. Now, the same question remains the same. Paano nga? Aber. How are we going to do these things? Take a look at this. I'm offering to you a particular perspective of being lazy to be productive. Some people will say, how stupid it is to become lazy and yet you become productive. Well, of course, fellow Rotarians, this statement should not be taken out of context, since this is stated not literally, but subjectively. We all know that our movement, especially here in Metro Manila and suburbs, are limited by restrictions imposed by our government rules. So our way around is to pivot, is to use technology as our tool to go around. That ideals had made us to design, implement, and focus all our activities using the technology at the comfort of our homes. Thus the phrase, being lazy to be productive. Paano nga ang gagawin? For this particular session, I will be offering you two aspects which are, I believe, all the more important aspects on our livelihood. One is how to increase our membership engagement by doing virtual meetings, interim virtual meetings as a way around for our Rotary business. And number two, how to engage our members through service from afar. All right. Number one, we proceed with membership. Perspective. When we experience outgoing adversity, it is far too easy to lose hope. When members maintain a realistic and positive perspective, Rotary clubs are facing challenges right now, including adjusting to meeting platforms and worrying about membership or giving. Remember, guys, that the challenges you face today are not a reflection of your future. How you respond to today's challenges will shape our future. Membership issues, stagnation or absolute number, attraction of new and retention of the old is perhaps the most widely discussed topic within Rotary at all levels, from RI to zone, to club, to district, and to club. It is no doubt an important parameter, but its emphasis seems to be more out of quantity rather than quality. Even if a club is successful in adding new members and retaining old ones, but actual numbers participating actively in the club activities remain unchanged, then this whole exercise becomes futile. What is therefore of greater importance is to measure the value added by each member towards enhancing the Rotary's objectives of service. Take a look at this. A business organization is critically judged by the analysis on the ability of the organizations to reduce its non-performing assets. In other words, increase in performance of its asset. In our case, members are assets of our clubs. Hence, the effort of leadership has to focus on enhancing the performance instead of simply adding new and perhaps non-performing assets. It may sound harsh, but for how long-term survival and to always remain relevant to the society we serve, especially in this time of pandemic, there is no easy options in today's world but to do just like that. Take a look at these Zoom meetings. These are normally, before COVID, these are normally what is being undertaken by multinational corporations doing Zoom meetings so that they can address issues, okay, that is happening in their regional offices. When COVID-19 or global pandemic arrives, these particular Zoom platforms have rose to the occasion, and even Rotary clubs are conducting their meetings via Zoom. Remember the Rotary e-clubs which was implemented by RI? Hindi to pumutok. But looking at it, Rotary e-clubs is but nothing but a virtual meeting clubs. Kaya lang hindi to type ng Rotary Club. Kaya hindi to tinanggap. Nowadays, they were step ahead on virtual meetings because they know far from us how to conduct these virtual meetings. Guys, online meetings are the preferred methods of maintaining club connections during the current emergency. There are some useful links appended to this guide to assist those unfamiliar with this format and to give further information to those who are unfamiliar. We do not have any choice. Not all our members are accustomed to Zoom meetings, but we have to pursue because this is the only method that is available for us to connect to our members. But the question is this: we have a dilemma facing regarding connection. Connection, if you are to ask me, is a critical building block for resilience because it is simply made sure to connect with others. Check in with your fellow members, calling them, sending them a message, work to make sure that they can access your virtual meetings. As a club, consider connecting with clubs to weave yourselves further into the global fabric of Rotary. There was one time a what do you call that? A champion president approaches me for what do you call that? To ask me some questions. Now, this particular president belongs to a Rotary Club somewhere in the South whose membership comprises about 35 all women. Sinabi niya sa akin, before COVID, they used to meet, of course, in person. And other than that, they use Viber as their alternative communications to connect with their members. Everything went pretty good and pretty well. However, when COVID broke down, they don't have any choice but to resort to Zoom meeting. The problem is this: 70% of the members of that club, okay, comprises the senior members, and only 13% of those members were millennials. These 30% are the ones accustomed to Zoom. However, the 70% are the ones accustomed to Viber. The president is now in dilemma as to what to do. What she did, she talked all the members and she asked them to do a social experiment. She said that the following week, they will conduct the Zoom meeting and enjoin everyone to attend that Zoom meeting. The following week, they will revert to Viber, okay? And they requested everybody to attend the Viber meeting. We all know for a fact that Viber is not an interactive application. It is only a one-way approach. So what had happened the following week? When they were on Zoom, only the 30% were in attendance. And the 70% senior members stuck to their ground and did not attend the meeting. As expected, the following week, when they were on Viber, the 70% were in attendance at Rumesbach in 30%. They did not attend the meeting. Now comes the question. On the following week, the president cannot do anything because she simply cannot assess. Then she asked me the question for mentoring. Pipi Mon, what am I going to do? I told her, there's nothing you can do but to keep your connections with them. If they cannot connect to Zoom, then let it be. Make them connect on Viber. What is important, they are connected. Whether whatever means you use, whether Viber, Zoom, text, messenger, even fax, or even text, what is important, each and every member is connected to the club. We have to understand, only one member is not connected. That same member who is not connected will lose interest. And once he loses interest, since he is not connected, he will lose his membership. And that is one thing we do not want to happen. So by and large, whether difficult is there, we have no choice but to maintain whatever application that is affordable and acceptable to them. What is important is that we keep the connection alive. We cannot and should not leave them aside simply because they do not want to attend the Zoom meeting. We have to keep them connected. Do you remember this particular phone? This Nokia 3210, the old reliable cell phone. There is a story behind this cell phone. I have a friend whom I met about 5, 6 years ago in one of the Rotary functions. And I suddenly saw him and approached him after that when he was toying this Nokia 3210. I approached him and asked him the question, friend, huwag ka magagalit ha. Medyo curious lang kasi ako. Hindi naman sa minamaliit kita. I do know for a fact that you are financially capable. You have a very nice, comfortable house. 5 kotse mo. Kaya lang, medyo na-intriga ako. Why is it that up to now, you're still using the 3210? You know what my friend told me? You know, Pipimon, he replied, my life is just simple. I just need to call and be called upon, period. Tama nga naman. Why do you need to invest on smartphones if you don't need the application inside the smartphone? If you need to call and just be called, textin mo siya, hindi siya sasagot sa text message. Okay? Simple lang ang buhay niya. Then why you need to upgrade your phone? End of story. Guess what? After several years, we met again. And I was starstruck and caught in awe when I saw this friend again. This time, he's now toying a smartphone. Out of curiosity, I approached him again. Sabi ko, friend, what a surprise! You're now using a smartphone. What had happened to your Nokia 3210? You know what he told me? Alam mo, Pipimon, there's nothing wrong with my 3210. The problem is, our telephone companies have now shifted from analog to digital. And since my 3210 is an analog type, I don't have any choice but to buy a new smartphone because that is where I get connected because the smartphone is digital. Even though the 3210 works perfectly well, but the technology does not permit the 3210 to work. What is the moral of this story? Friends, bayaan lang natin yung mga members natin na hindi uma-attend the Zoom meeting. They, sooner or later, they will morph into a butterfly. Sooner or later, they will see, once the technology catch up on them, they don't have any choice but to go with the flow on technology. And by and large, they will join you into Zoom meeting. Kung siya na lang ang natitira sa entire membership na hindi uma-attend ng Zoom, mapipilitan din niyang mag-Zoom. And for all we know, bukas lang, okay, konektado na siya sa atin. What is important, huwag niyo silang iiwanan sa ere. What is important is consistent messaging. There are a lot of highly interactive tools. And I'm not even offering Zoom. There are a lot of meeting platforms you can use of, okay? Not necessarily Zoom. Payayamanin natin ng creator nito. There is the Google Meet, the WhatsApp, the Facebook, the Twitter. All of these are consistent messaging that you can make use of. Chances are, someone in your club already has a pro version of this, of the version of this in their businesses. And all you need to do is to make use of this pro version kasi nga yung free version 40 minutes lang ang allowable sa atin para medyo sumarap-sarap naman ang kwentuhan. Okay? But what is important, we have to make use of these interactive tools as a way for us to pivot our activities. Next, engagement our service from afar. You know, kahapon, nagsaserve ako sa internet and I chanced upon this very beautiful title which is being undertaken by our host club, Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro, to which they call plantliner ng bayan. Okay? So hindi frontliner, kundi plantliner. I was not able to interview them as to the specifics of this undertaking, but I can only assume that what they are trying to profess is for the members to make them busy to plant, well, vegetables or plants inside their backyard. But what I am proposing in consonance to this is what I call urban gardening. Nagtanim na lang tayo. But the question that is still hounding my mind, kung sakaling lumaki na kaya yung mga halaman na tinanim ng mga plant liners, what are they supposed to do? Well, I am offering an alternative solution. Take a look at this. If every member will transform their backyard into urban gardening, let's assume that one member will able to produce 10 kilos of lettuce each. And there are 20 members, okay, in the club. Charter strength lang. 20 members times 10 kilos will surmount to 200 kilos of lettuce. What are we going to do? We don't sell this lettuce. We donate this lettuce to the orphanage, to those people who are in need, to those people who don't have anything to eat. Okay? This is where the outcome will transpire. Can you imagine the impact it will create? If one member who is a CEO of his company starts planting seeds of vegetables in his backyard, and 10% of that 200 kilos that we have planted will be resorted to donating, okay, to those people in need. I'm not only referring to lettuce. We can go as far as eggplants, tomatoes, all those vegetables that you can plant. And you do not even need a pot. You can just recycle any containers that you have on hand that you cannot throw simply because the garbage collectors are not passing by. Transforming this into pots will provide you the necessary container to do your things without going out of your house. This is what I call being lazy yet being productive. Just try to imagine the impact that the recipients will see if they see the Rotary clubs comprising of CEOs and managing directors donating their output, the harvest vegetables that they have, and donating it to those people in need. Okay? Try to imagine the impact it will create. And this, we do not even need to go out. Try to look at this. Nino na ako nag-aaral, ang tawag natin dito, kurban. What is kurban? In our lingo, kurban, we call it as kurtina ng banyo. This is a story of one club located in Eastern Visayas. Before COVID, well, as in any other club, they used to conduct in-face meeting. However, inabutan din sila ng COVID. So they don't have any choice but to resort to virtual meetings. Eto ngayon. Second week, third week, first week, second week, third week. Hi, hello, kamusta dyan? Okay lang ba kayo? Tawanan dito, tawanan doon. Everything went lively. But the thing is, on the fourth week, nagkakasawaan na sila. And somebody have pronounced, wala na ba tayong pwedeng magawa sa meeting? Puro na lang tayo kwentuhan. Until that particular moment got struck a one member who is in the session. That member so happened to be a medical doctor who is one of the frontliners in one of the public hospitals in that area. Sabi niya sa akin, you know, friends, we have a problem in our hospitals. Maraming nagpapagamot sa COVID and we are simply helpless because we do not have enough supply of the PPE. The government is telling us that they will supply, but as of this moment, we are hardly in need of the supply. By just mere statement, okay, an idea struck in that conversation. And one member suddenly stood up and said, friends, I have this particular member, by the way, is into business of gown rental. And then she said, friends, in my bodega, I have excess tela that I was not able to sew simply because there's nothing for it. What I can do is I can donate this tela and convert it into a PPE. My only problem is that I do not know the design of this PPE. By simply stating, another member stood up and said, this member, by the way, is an architect. He used to draw houses. And this architect said, oh, that's no problem. I can design for a pattern of this PPE and you give us the necessary tela. We can buy additional tela in the telehan and we start sewing this PPE. You know what? 1 week after, they transformed that meeting into action. And all its members have pulled out its resources, one member sewing one PPE after another until the following week, they were able to come up with this PPE and come up with a bunch of PPE. The following week, they have an agenda to talk about. And in that agenda, suddenly, another member attended the virtual meeting who is absent the previous meeting and saw the activities that this club is currently doing. Sabi niya, friends, meron akong sewing machine sa bahay which is not being used. I do know the basics of this sewing. Can you provide me this pattern of this tela so that I can have something to do at home? Okay, para may magawa naman ako. Wala kasi akong magawa eh. After that, the following day, the club sent her 30 sets of PPEs. And once the pattern tela, and once she received, he immediately transformed his house into a sewing, what do you call that, room. He mustered all his children and assigned one job after another. And on that particular week, these members were able to finish sewing the 30 pieces of PPE. You know what happened? After she finished sewing this PPE, she took a picture of that and pasted it on Facebook, and I was able to read what was written. Ang sabi niya, it is not easy to be a dressmaker. Okay. Naputol po yung aking, ay, hindi. Nasira tuloy yan. It is not easy to be a dressmaker, but I am truly happy that I was able to help through my sewing skill. Okay. But you know what's important and the impact that it created? When she said the last statement, it's priceless. Guys, this is what we're talking about on membership retention, on how we should dirty our hands. Madali kasing kumuha ng pera sa bulsa, buy the PPE and donate it elsewhere. It's very easy to get money from the global grant, buy those PPE and donate it elsewhere. But what is important and enduring for us Rotarians is if we will be the one to do it ourselves, just like what this Rotarian did. And you know what's important is intriguing to me, which caught my attention? When I learned that this Rotarian's name, okay, that this Rotarian is a current municipal trial court judge. She doesn't know anything but to send people to jail. But because of this COVID, she was holed up in his house. And because of this virtual meeting, she transformed herself from a judge, okay, to a dressmaker. What's an additional impact that this particular project will create to this judge? We do not know. But there might be some possibility that these PPEs that this judge have made will be given to a frontliner, to the husband of the frontliner, to the brothers and siblings of this frontliner, or the loved ones of this frontliner whom this judge sent to jail. Hindi ba pwedeng malayong mangyari yan? Po pwede. Because the judge's job is to send those people to jail. Pero hindi malayong mangyari that those people she sent to jail will be the same people she will donate this PPE. That is a high impact which we can earn, which we can state, and which we can tell to everybody how important and relevant is being a Rotarian. Making yourself available and dirtying your hands to make a worthwhile activity for the benefit of other people. Fellow Rotarians, you are not mistaken on what you see. Tama po ang nakikita nyo. Because this is one thing that we need to discuss in our virtual meetings. What had happened on that particular dressmaking will never push through kung walang virtual meetings na nangyari at walang discussion sa mga membro for them to act in coming up with that PPE. Everything started on a virtual meeting. Just like this one. Without us probably knowing, but the news are already everywhere that cyber sex is now on the offing. And because of this cyber sex, teenage pregnancy is on the rise. It is a high possibility. And this is one particular activity or project that we can talk upon on our next virtual meeting on how the Rotary clubs can respond by promoting what you call, nakalimutan ko English, kamalayan, okay? Or importance on how to properly make use of our internet. Because if these people will just haphazardly utilize the internet, what is important, naalala ko na, is for this Rotary Club to provide the information campaign on the proper use of the internet. And that is one particular activity that the Rotary Club can make use of. There's another project that we can discuss on our virtual meetings, okay, which encompasses the 7th Avenue of our service. Remember the 7th Avenue, which is environmental protection. Has any one of you ever wondered what had happened to the face mask that we have thrown away? Because this is one particular aspect that we have to consider. Because once we enter this new normal, this will be our next big problem on how do we properly dispose this particular, what you call, face mask. This is one information campaign that we can look into. I haven't heard any statistical data or analysis or study that states as to how these face masks were transformed or they were just thrown out of bay. This is one avenue that we can look into and probably conduct a particular project on information again on how to properly dispose this particular waste. Fellows, resilience is a process of adapting in the face of adversity. When we experience traumatic or stressful event, our brains activate a number of pathways to protect us. This biological process helps keep us safe. It is the recovery from these events that we grow and change and become stronger. Many of us are living in this reality right now in the face of COVID-19 pandemic. The good news is there is always way to grow our capacity for resiliency, and that is one way to pivot our club. We can use this time to strengthen the Rotary, and by working together through virtual meetings, we can grow and foster resilience in our fellow members and in our club. Guys, when we collectively care for our members, we help create pathways to grow and foster resilience. When we scale these practices to the organizational level, we unlock new potential to strengthen our clubs and enhance the member experience. The world deserves Rotarians and Rotary clubs that are resilient, adaptable, and strong. Remember, fellow Rotarians, in doing our Rotary business in the midst of global pandemic, we have to take care of one another. We have to connect everybody into our club. But you also have to remember, do not do it haphazardly. Take care of yourselves as well. You too deserve to be your best and most resilient self. In closing, let me share you this phrase. Kapit lang mga kapatid, malalampasan din natin ang pagsubok ng global pandemic nito. Bakit po? Yung ang DSWD, nilampasan tayo eh. Pagsubok pa kaya. That's all, folks. Thank you very much and have a pleasant good morning.
Thank you very much, PP Mon. That's a very good presentation, very informative. But let me summarize what you have discussed. I have learned a lot from this webinar, so you are indeed an icon, no? In terms of motivating, inspiring Rotarians in terms of membership. PP Montekai discussed about the club strengthens the action plans, and the club assess and adjusts club's performance. And because of pandemic, virus is here to stay. And with no exact direction, we do not know where to go, and yet we have to embrace it. And then what's the plan? Reboot or a pivot? Of course, we have to choose the pivot. This is what we need when a current idea is neither working or getting significant improvement. Because, according to our speaker, everything changes. There should be a transformation. It may take time, long process, it requires energy, but this will help you explore the unexplorable. In pivoting also, he discussed about the three things. Club should be aligned to the goals of the club, lateral extension of club's existing capabilities, sustainable path toward growth and development. And the $1 million question is how? And according to our speaker, we have to utilize and maximize technology at the comfort of our homes. And any platform can be utilized. Responding to recent challenges will shape the Rotary's future. And what is important? All members are connected to the club. That's the bottom line. Stay connected. Constant messaging. Engage them through service from afar. And for the benefit of yourselves and the community, which is priceless. Thank you very much, PP Mon, for a very informative discussion this morning. And I've learned a lot from you. And nice to see you again. And this is my lollipop moment.
Ramon ka talaga.
Okay. With that, do we have any questions, President Janet? Do you have any questions to our speaker? Because all of the comments nakalagay, the presentation is very good. This is from PDG. Wow, PDG Kit Reventar. Welcome, PDG Kit. Sabi niya, the presentation is very good. Thank you. And give my regards to your club and to my classmate, PDG Efren Martinez. Excellent talk, according to IPDG Rafi Taiko. IPDG Rafi Taiko, thank you very much also for hosting the Raila Pilipinas. Thank you very much for sending your Railarians and Doc Chris Sorongon for the Pilipinas. Anyway, according to IPDG Rafi Taiko, excellent talk as usual. Lodimon, congrats, be well and safe. According to IPP Francis Gutierrez of RC San Pedro Magic, thank you, PP Mon, and congratulations to RC Metro San Pedro. Is there any questions? Another transforming webinar by PP Mon, by Transformer President Gia De Leon of RC San Pedro South, PP Ros Evangelio, according to him, very relevant talk about Rotary membership. And then we have here from Cavinti. Wow. Do we have questions, President Janet? Feeling ko talagang wala eh, na-mesmerize kay Lodi Mon. It is really good, no? Talagang walang dull moment kahit tuto ka talaga eh, kasi lahat ng binabanggit very relevant sa club. Tama yun eh. Now we have to utilize and maximize our technology kasi yun ang meron tayo ngayon. Any platform will do as long as our members are connected. That will do. Walang question, PP. Walang question. Talagang, ang lagay lang, sabi ni Arnel Pulya, ang galing mo, Sir Mon. Hindi ko alam kung ako yun o ikaw, sir. Hindi, ikaw yun. Ang galing mo, PP Mon Dacayo. Great talk, as expected. According to Doc Chris, congrats and thanks for the inspiring, informative talk. PP Mon, wala pa rin kupas. Stay safe and happy anniversary to you and Doc Cynthia. Is there someone from the group who would like to share? Baka gusto may mag-share? Great talk as expected. Hello kay Doc Chris. Yan from, we have here also from IPP Connie Miklat from RC Central Pinamalayan. Thank you, Pipimon, for enlightening and for this enlightening and meaningful sharing. God bless. For RCA Sunrise, Ricky, thank you and congratulations to RC Metro San Pedro for hosting this very informative webinar. Is there someone from the group who would like to share also regarding dito sa atin? Kasi talagang dinaisect ko yung mga sinabi ni Titi Mon eh. and I have written kung ano mga significant ano. May question po ba?
May sabihin lang ako, Mon. May dumating na
Yes.
note sa akin, binigay ng misis ko. Meron daw delivery sa labas. Isang complete package ng Kenny Rogers. Hindi naman kami umorder. Okay? Kaya ako ina-announce, baka merong isang tao dyan nagpadala sa akin. Thank you very much. Kasi hindi pa nga ako nag-aagahan. Kasi wala naman po pwede mag-deliver sa akin eh. Kundi dyan eh. No? So siguro, out of appreciation, umorder siya ng Kenny Rogers, naman dito. Pero that person remains anonymous. Okay, sabi ko sa misis ko, kung bayad niya, tanggapin mo, okay lang yan. So, I will just make use of this, maximize this opportunity to thank who is that person who sent me the Kenny Rogers. Maraming salamat.
Okay. Pipimon, there is a question.
Si Janet pala nagpadala. Thank you, Janet.
Oh.
Yun. Lumutang na rin. Okay.
The question is, this is from PPJ Tambunting of RC Makati regarding transforming Rotaractors to Rotary. Can you give us advice on this question regarding transforming Rotaractors to Rotary?
No, the question probably is not on the side of the Rotaractors regarding transforming themselves into Rotary. This has been discussed during the RotaCon held last year in Iloilo. Which I have already professed my concern. Wala po kasi sa problema, and I'm sure Mon Brothers will agree with me, that the question of the Rotaract joining Rotary is not on the side of the Rotaract, but on the side of the Rotary if they will accept the Rotaract. Kasi ang problema doon, sinasabi nga nila, wala namang pangbayad dyan eh. Baka kami pa magbayad dyan sa mga Rotaractor. Okay? What they don't know is that these Rotaractors has an enormous capacity, probably not on the financial terms, but they do know how to make reports. They do know how to strategize. And they do know what it is to make the necessary planning. Okay? Ang problema lang doon, yung total acceptance ng Rotarians. And have you noticed, the Rotary International is conducting changes in order to accept this young blood into the Rotary front. Not because we need additional members that the Rotarians are not delivering, because we are just delivering Rotarians by quantity. What RI is trying to profess is the continuation of the life of the Rotary. I'll give you one example. In my former, there is one particular Rotary club, okay, who is in existence for the past 32 years. Na ngayon, out of these 32 years, siguro mga 40 sila, if I'm not mistaken. There are now 40 members in this club. And 30% out of these 40 members are charter members. So that means, okay, 32 years nila silang active members. Through thick and thin, hindi sila bumitaw. Hindi sila nagpate 85 rule. They still pay their dues. Okay? So, kung titingnan natin at the forefront, malakas ang Rotary. Why? Because the charter members are still there. But if you try to look deeper into the organizational stage, normally during those times, okay, 32 years ago, the normal members that are attending or joining the club ranges in the vicinity of around 30 to 35 years on the average. Okay? There are even some members who become Rotarians at the age of 40. Kasi ang tinitingnan doon is their financial capability. Try to take a look. For those Rotarians who have entered the club at the age of 40, plus 32 years now, they are already at the doldrum. 72 years old na sila by this time. And taking cue, 30% out of that 40, That is 12 members out of their 40. Out of the 40 total, iniintay na lang ito na kunin sila ni Lord. Okay, whether we'd like it or not, no matter how strong the club is, panagbabay na itong mga 30 charter members ito, even though how strong the club is, the club will die the natural death. Why? Because they do not have the younger blood to sustain the club. And that is where the youth will come in. It's just a matter of giving them the necessary opportunity to work. Ano ba naman yung pera? Pera-pera lang yan eh. Even Rotary is now telling us na yung payment ng youth will be much cheaper. Tama ba ako, Mon? Will be much cheaper. Okay?
Opo. $8 po.
Oh, temo? Than that of the Rotarians. Ayaw pa rin magbigay ng Rotary Club. Sige, sabi nga ng aray, sige, kung ayaw nyo tanggapin ng mga Rotaractors, then let them, okay, establish their own. Okay? Eh, ang problema, kailangan mo ng host. Nagbitaw ulit si aray. Maski na hindi siya host o sponsor ng Mother Rotary Club, the other Rotaract clubs can sponsor the other Rotaract clubs. Ginigita ng aray ang importance ng youth. This we need to measure and learn and understand the message that is underneath this particular pronouncement. And what they're just trying to do is for us to understand the importance of this youth. Total, nag-umpisa rin tayo sa youth eh. Alam naman din natin yon. It's just a matter of mentoring this youth para lang natin silang anak. So this is one thing that I would like to emphasize. Give them the chance. And for all you know, mas maalam pa sila kaysa sa atin. And that is why joining Rotaractors are very relevant for us. To those Rotary clubs who are sponsoring Rotaractors, do not sponsor them just for the benefit of getting awards. Sponsor them for you to see that they will be the one to sustain your future. Because once they are elevated to your club, okay, you all know for a fact that you do not need to train them because they are more knowledgeable than us. It's a matter of giving them the chance. Thank you, Jay, for that question. Yes, Mon.
Also to inform our the Rotarians who are here in the room that the Rotary Club now ay wala na pong upper age limit. So therefore, the Rotary Club is now competing with the Rotary Clubs in terms of recruiting members. So if there are Rotaractors who would like to join Rotary Club, please welcome them because since club should be dynamic, of course, it's a very good transformation for a Rotary Club to see because Rotary Clubs are being trained to become Rotarians. That's why Rotaractors dapat i-train to become Rotarians. And medyo anong RI because Rotaract is now a membership type. It is no longer a program. So therefore, Rotaract can now accept age. Hindi na po siya 18 to 30 as age 30 above will do. So therefore, in terms of membership recruitment, baka mas dynamic ang Rotaractor. So therefore, magkukumpit sila sa atin in terms of recruitment. So dapat we have to encourage Rotaractors to join us, especially Rotary clubs na nag-sponsor ng kanilang Rotary clubs. Kasi tama si Pipi Mondacayo, no? Tama po siya. Hindi na po kailangan ng Rotary club to sponsor a Rotary club. Even a Rotary club can sponsor another Rotary club. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I would like also to acknowledge Pipi Sonia Trevino for your words. Pipi Mo, let me acknowledge again the different clubs na nag-attend para ma-recognize mo natin muli sila habang nagpapahinga si Pipi Mo. Water break muna. From 3870, we have Cotabato City South, Cotabato East, and Isulan. For 3860, Greater Calbayog, Candaya, Tacloban, Metro Mandawi 2006 in Ormoc. For 3850, Bacolod North, Dipolog, Iloilo South, Calibo, Metro Rojas. 3830, Alabang West, Makati West. For 3820, Atimonan, Alvia, Atimonan, Lacambini, Atimonan, Sunrise, Balayan, Bawan, Cabuyao Circle, Calamba, Candelaria, Daet Center Point, We have Downtown Calapan, Legazpi North, Lipa Midwest, Lipa South, Lipa West, Los Baños Maquiling, Lucena North, Mabini, Metro San Pedro, Metro Santa Rosa South, Metro Sorsogon, Metro Tanawan de Santo Tomas, Metropolitan Candelaria, Nagcarlan, Pinamalayan Central, San Pablo City, San Pedro Madrid, Santa Rosa South, Santa Rosa West, San Pedro West, Santo Tomas, Alemari, Tayabas Central, Chaong Circle, West Nawan, San Pedro South, we have 3770, Angat, Bloomingdale's, Malolos Republic, Santa Maria, Bulacan. 3790, Central Pampanga, Clark Field, 100 Islands, Masinloc, 3800, Malabon Central, Ortigas Center, Rizal Mid-East, Baana, Pasay Maharlika, Pasay Southeast, 9400, Johannesburg, South Africa. Pag si Pupi mo nagdakayo talaga, blockbuster, no? And of course, the PDGs, PDG Rafi Taiko, PDG Kit Reventar, thank you for gracing the occasion. Thank you very, very much. And another congratulations to, thank you to the two PP Mon. Congratulations, Arsemas San Pedro and PP Mon, our distinguished speaker for today.
PDG Ronnie Gabalda of 3850 is also on the house.
PDG Ron. Okay, welcome po, welcome po. Salamat po. Talagang this is indeed a very good and informative, interactive discussion coming from PP Mon. Talagang marami tayong natutunan, marami tayong na-enlighten tayo on the process of metamorphosis. Changes is inevitable, but we have to adapt. If not, we might be the weakest link of changes at pwede tayong mawala. So yun po. So as Rotarians, sabi nga ni PP Mon, we have to be resilient. Tama po yun. We have to be resilient. That is one of our considerable strengths as Rotarians, flexibility and resilience. No? Yan po tayo. May questions pa po ba? Transforming President Janet? I think we have acknowledged all Rotary clubs. For your information, PP Mon, we have 70 clubs, more than 100 Rotarians, coming from 9 Rotary districts in the Philippines and 1 Rotary district outside the Philippines. This is indeed a national event. Would you?
Yes.
Palagay nyo, PP Mon, it's a national event. And I would like to congratulate Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro for this event. I am just invited by Rotary's Metro San Pedro to be the host. I am not from Metro San Pedro. I am from San Pedro Magic, but I love Metro San Pedro. Pag si PP Del nagsalita, mag-request, bawal mag-no. Yun po.
Si Del din na nag-invite sa akin, kaya hindi rin ako nakano.
Okay. Again, to all our participants, thank you very much. Sunday is Family Day. And yet, binigyan niyo po kami ng inyong panahon, binigyan niyo po kami ng inyong mga oras. Again, to our Rotarians here, can we give a clap reaction to our guest speaker, PP Mondacayo? A clap reaction, please.
Virtual applause.
Yeah, virtual applause. Yeah, thank you very much. Again, I would like to Chris Sorongon from 3850. Special mention yan kasi kasama kayo sa Laila, Pilipinas. Okay, keep on supporting our youth. Keep on supporting our youth. Okay, so I think we don't have any more questions. Wala pong gustong mag-share. Okay, puro congratulations lang kay Lodi mo, informative. Okay, with that, presentation certification of appreciation to be given to our guest speaker. Let me read the citation. Rotarian Mimi for the certificate. Okay. Let me read the citation. Okay. Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro Certificate of Appreciation is presented to PP Ramon Montacayo, in grateful recognition for his valuable contribution as the resource speaker during the club's membership month webinar, Doing Rotary Business in a Global Pandemic, given this 23rd day of August 2020. Signed, Pipi Rodelas, club trainer. We have Pipi Ed Fugoso, members committee chair, and transforming president, Janet Rodelas. Okay, once again, thank you very much, Pipi Mon, for a very informative. Sobrang galing, sobrang galing. And congratulations to our CMET San Pedro for the opportunity to join this informative and inspiring webinar Zoom meeting from Wilma and Santiago. With that, ay may bumati pa si Tita Betia. Yan. Congratulations daw according kay Tita Beth. Congratulations again kay Tita Betia Aquino de Leon. Now, for the closing remarks, may I call on the transforming president, Janet Rodelas.
Hi, can you hear me po?
Yes.
Yes, President.
Hi everyone, a blessed Sunday. Thank you so much to our host, imported from RC San Pedro Magic, Pipi Mon Brazas, and of course to our energetic speaker, Pipi Mon Dacayo, for this very captivating and informative presentation this morning. And yes, as it is true that we are now caught up in a global pandemic brought about by this COVID-19, this will not stop us, Rotarians, from continuing selfless service in our communities. As we embrace this new normal, let us be adaptable and make a sustainable path towards growth to achieve our Rotary goals and objectives. One that may help us give a good impact in the minds of our Rotarian members and also that of our community that we serve. To all my classmates and Rotary leaders, stay strong. Let us continue to show our passion in service and creatively find ways to continuously engage our members and retain the vibrancy of our clubs amid this pandemic. Remember, in the face of adversity, our light shines brightest in the dark. Once again, thank you everyone. Thank you for the great wonders of technology that we are able to gather here today. Kahit nasa mga malalayong lugar po tayo. Again, have a great day ahead po.
Thank you very much, Transforming President Janet. You are shining also this morning. Yung ganda mo, nagsashine. But mga kagwapuhan ng Rotarians, yan. Nagsashine na. Okay. Again, thank you very much sa lahat po nag-attend, sa lahat po nang nagbigay ng kanilang congratulatory words sa Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro. Kudos sa Rotary Club Metro San Pedro for hosting this kind of webinar. Sana meron pang susunod uli. Sobrang ganda nitong paninipair ng Rotary Club of Metro San Pedro. Congratulations. Pagbati from RC Downtown Calapan.